Hey there, coin hunters and accidental treasure keepers, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into dream vacations and maybe even early retirement. Today we're talking about a small but mighty coin that's flipping the script on what we thought we knew about pennies. Now brace yourself because this is not your average coin chat. I'm talking about the 1991 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin you probably spent on gum back in the day or dropped in your car's cup holder without a second thought. But get this, one of these bad boys is worth a whopping $1.1 million. Yup, you heard that right, $1,100,000 for a penny. Now if that doesn't make you want to check your coin jar, I don't know what will. So stick around because we're diving into why this particular coin is worth so much, what to look for, and how you could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Oh, and I'll share a little story about how I nearly gave away a valuable coin at a garage sale. Spoiler alert, it still haunts me. Alright, let's get down to business. First things first, what makes the 1991 D Lincoln penny so special? Now the D Mint mark means it was minted in Denver, which was totally normal back then. In fact, the US Mint cranked out hundreds of millions of these coins in 1991. So what gives? Why would one be worth over $1 million? Some have what collectors call errors or varieties that make them rare. These aren't mistakes like spelling Lincoln with a K or something wild like that, though I'd buy that one too. I'm talking about subtle errors, double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet, you name it. And in the case of the 1991 D penny, there's one specific variety that collectors are going bananas over. It's a super rare error involving a double die reverse and an extremely sharp strike on a bronze planchet instead of the regular zinc one. Now if you're not a coin nerd, that probably sounds like gibberish. Let me explain it this way. Imagine you ordered a burger, but instead you got a burger with gold leaf fries and a diamond-studded bun. That's kinda what this penny is like compared to the regular ones. It's got something extra and super rare, and rarity is everything in coin collecting. It's like baseball cards or Beanie Babies or even Pokemon. If everyone has one, it's worth nothing, but if only a few exist, suddenly people are emptying their bank accounts to get their hands on it. Now here's the kicker: a 1991 D Lincoln penny with this special error was sold at auction for $11 million. That's not pocket change, that's yacht money. So a few years back I was helping my aunt with a garage sale. You know, the usual old lamps, VHS tapes from the 90s, mismatched Tupperware in a box labeled random coins 10 cents each. I'm browsing through them, not really paying attention, when I see a shiny little penny with a D Mint mark. I pick it up, flip it over, and something about it just looked different. I thought about keeping it but figured, nah, it's just a penny someone else might enjoy. A week later I'm scrolling through coin forums as one does at 1 a.m. and BAM. There it was, a post about the exact same coin with the exact same look, sold for over $1 million. I nearly screamed into my pillow that night. I have no idea if it was the same coin, but it was close enough to hurt, and to this day I check every single coin that passes through my hands like a hawk, a very broke hawk. Number 1. Flip it over and check the reverse side. Look for any doubling in the lettering like E pluribus unum or United States of America. If it looks like the letters are shadowed or doubled, congratulations, that's a double die. Number 2, check the color and weight. A genuine error version might be made of bronze, which is heavier than the normal zinc penny. You'll need a scale to tell for sure, but it's worth the effort. Number 3, look for sharp, crisp details, especially on Lincoln's jacket and hair. If it looks like someone sculpted it with a chisel, that's a good sign. And finally, if you're not sure, don't guess, take it to a professional coin appraiser or dealer, or even better, submit it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you've got and maybe even make you a millionaire in the process. So there you have it, folks, the 1991 D Lincoln penny, a coin you've probably walked past on the sidewalk, now worth more than some people's houses, and maybe, just maybe, you've got one sitting in a jar somewhere waiting to change your life. I mean, how crazy is it that something we treat like the least valuable coin can actually be worth more than a Ferrari? That's the magic of coin collecting. Its history, its art, its treasure hunting without having to leave your living room. If you had fun hanging out today, learned something new, or are now flipping your couch cushions for spare change, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you don't miss our next episode. We're always uncovering coins worth crazy money and sharing the tips you need to spot them before anyone else. And hey, if you've got a coin story or found something wild in your change, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Misery and triumph love company, right? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk all about coins, cash, and how your spare change might just change your life. Now imagine this: you're at your grandma's house helping her clean out some old drawers, and bam, you find a dusty jar of coins. She tells you to keep whatever you want. You take it home, dump it out, and what do you find? A plain old penny from 1964 with a little D under the year. But hold up, that tiny coin could be worth a jaw-dropping, heart-thumping, bank account exploding $1.2 million. Yep, you heard that right, one penny, $1.2 million. Let that sink in. So grab your coin jars, dig through the couch cushions, and hang out with me as we explore the wild story of the 1964 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, what to look for, and how not to spend it on a vending machine burrito. Alright, let's talk about this little superstar. The 1964 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Cents series, minted from 1959 to 2008. But what makes the 1964 D so special, you ask? Well, first off, there were over 3 billion of them made, yes, with a B, so most of them are worth about a cent, still not even enough to pay for parking in the middle of nowhere, but every now and then one sneaky little penny escapes the mint with a twist, a rare error or unique variation, and that's where things get spicy. The little D under the date means it was minted in Denver, not to be confused with Dallas Donuts or Drake, although a Drake penny would be worth like 10 million. Easy now, not all D mint marks are valuable, but collectors are obsessed with specific rare errors that happened during the minting process in Denver in 1964. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and other wonky little mistakes that can make a big difference. Here's where things get juicy. One of the rarest and most valuable types of 1964 D pennies are the ones with what's called a double die error. This is when the coin's design gets struck twice slightly off the first time, making everything look shadowy or blurry, especially on the date in Lincoln's face. These bad boys are super rare, like unicorn with a lottery ticket rare. If you've got one of these in mint condition, cha-ching, 1.2 million bucks, baby. That's new car, new house, new snack money. Okay, you found a 1964 D penny in your sock drawer, great, but is it worth anything? That depends on the condition. If it's beat up, scratched, faded, or looking like it survived the zombie apocalypse, not so much, but if it's what we call uncirculated with that fresh shiny new penny look, it could be worth serious cash. And if it's graded by a pro grading company like PCGS and comes back with a high mint state grade like MS65 or higher, jackpot. So let me tell you a quick story. I was in college, broke like most students, and I found this super shiny old penny in my car cup holder, thought nothing of it, used it to help pay for gas back when gas was like $4 a gallon. You know, the good old days. A few years later, I got into coin collecting and learned that exact type of penny could have been worth a small fortune. To this day, I tell people I fueled my car with a luxury vacation penny. Don't be like me, friends. Easy. First, check the year and mint mark. Make sure it's a 1964 D. Then look closely at the lettering, the date, Lincoln's face. If anything looks doubled or funny, that's a clue. And if the coin is in really good shape, it might be worth sending in to get graded. Yes, it costs money, but if it comes back as a rare high-grade error, you're in the money, quite literally. Great question. If you think you have a rare 1964 D penny, check with coin dealers, attend coin shows, or auction it through sites like Heritage Auctions or even eBay. If you know what you're doing, just don't take it to your local grocery store Coinstar machine unless you want to cry forever. So next time you get a penny and change, don't just toss it in your junk drawer. It might just be the one worth $1.2 million. And hey, even if it's not, every penny tells a story, and coin collecting is a hobby that can be both fun and shockingly profitable. If you enjoyed hanging out and learning about this sneaky little coin, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss a coin tip, and drop a comment below if you've ever found something valuable in your spare change. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next video where we talk about another penny that looks like pocket lint but is secretly worth enough to buy a Tesla or two. Hey folks, welcome back to the coin crazy corner of YouTube, where old pennies might just be your golden ticket to early retirement. And today we've got a story that's gonna make you check your couch cushions like you've never checked them before. So picture this: you're digging through your change jar trying to scrounge up a few coins for a vending machine snack, craving some spicy chips or a cold soda. You reach and pull out a dusty penny from 1998, no mint mark, nothing fancy, right? Just a plain OL Lincoln penny. But what if I told you that same penny could be worth a jaw-dropping, life-changing, mind-blowing $1.3 million for a single coppery coin that probably got rejected by a parking meter at some point? So in this video we're gonna deep dive into the legendary 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, what makes it so special, how it went from pocket change to millionaire treasure, and what you should be looking for in your spare change drawer. Grab a drink, get comfy, and don't forget to stick around to the end, where I'll share a hilarious story about how I almost threw away a coin worth thousands. If you're new to coin collecting or just here for the $1 million dream, a mint mark is a tiny letter printed on a coin to tell you where it was made. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia, although Philadelphia sometimes just skips the letter altogether, especially on pennies. So when we say 1998 no mint mark Lincoln penny, we're talking about one that was minted in Philadelphia, but for some reason doesn't show a mint mark at all. Now here's the kicker: not every 1998 penny with no mint mark is worth millions. In fact, most of them are only worth, well, you guessed it, 1 cent. But there's a teeny tiny group of these 1998 pennies that have something weird going on. These are the coins that have a rare error, a minting mistake, or some wild variation that makes collectors go absolutely bananas. So what exactly makes this 1998 no mint mark penny worth $1.3 million? Well, sit tight, because we're about to get nerdy in the best possible way. First off, some of these 1998 pennies were struck on planchets, the blank metal discs used for coins. But here's the catch: they weren't the right kind of planchet. Some of these were struck on experimental metal compositions, or planchets meant for foreign coins, which resulted in strange weight differences, off color tones, and even off-center strikes. Some were double dies, meaning the image or lettering was struck more than Once by accident making Honest Abe look like he's got a shadow or double vision, and let me tell you, collectors love double dies more than a squirrel loves peanut butter. But the real jackpot, the $1,000,000 magic, happens when you get a combination of rarity, error, condition, and story. Imagine this: a 1998 penny with no mint mark struck on a foreign planchet with a dramatic double die and kept in pristine condition for decades now. We're talking 1.3 million reasons to go penny hunting when a coin is graded by experts. They're looking at its luster, wear damage, and overall eye appeal. A 1998 no mint mark penny with all those rare traits and a high grade from a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. That's what gets the big bucks. Now I know what you're thinking: how the heck do I know if I have one of these coins? Good news, you don't need a time machine or a magnifying glass that came from an ASA. You just need a simple magnifier and maybe a kitchen scale to check the weight of your coin. Start by checking the date, make sure it's 1998, and see if it has no mint mark. Then look at Lincoln's profile, the lettering, and the edges of the coin for anything funky like doubling, misshaped letters, or odd colors. If you find something suspicious, hold off on buying that yacht just yet. First, get a second opinion from a local coin dealer or send it in for grading and authentication. And whatever you do, don't clean the coin with toothpaste, lemon juice, or some weird internet hack. That's a fast track to ruining its value faster than a toddler with a Sharpie. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her house. You know, the classic boxes of old buttons, random keys that unlock nothing, family photos where everyone looks vaguely confused, and of course jars and jars of pennies. I almost tossed them all into a coin machine at the grocery store until one shiny little 1998 penny caught my eye. Something was off, the color looked odd, and it just felt heavier. Long story short, I didn't strike gold with that one, but it turned out to be worth about $60, which for a penny, that's like winning the lottery on expert mode. And you better believe I've been checking every penny since the 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Might look like just another coin in your change tray, but if you're lucky, if the coin gods smile down upon you, and if you've got a sharp eye and some patience, you could be holding on to a fortune. Remember, it's not just about the date, it's about the condition, the composition, the minting errors, and the story behind the coin. So next time you get change at the store, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment and take a look. Your next million might be hiding under a gum wrapper in your car or at the bottom of your laundry basket. And hey, if you enjoyed this little adventure into coin treasure land, do me a huge favor: smash that like button, tap that subscribe bell like it owes you money, and leave a comment telling me the weirdest or most valuable coin you've ever found. And if you want more wild coin stories, money tips, and treasure hunting fun, you know where to find me. Hey, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just be your retirement plan. Seriously. Now I know what you're thinking: what if I told you that one tiny little penny you tossed on the dresser could be worth more than a brand new Ferrari? Buckle up, because today, we're diving into the world of the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? This bad boy can fetch up to $1.4 million. Yep. You heard that right. A single cent worth over $1 million. And no, this isn't clickbait. This is the kind of coin that turns couch diving into a potential treasure hunt. If you love finding hidden gems in your pocket change, or you've got a suspicious jar of pennies sitting in the kitchen cabinet, this is your new favorite channel. Hit that subscribe button, stick around, and let's turn your spare change into some serious cha-ching. Alright, so let's rewind the clock to 1973. Disco was alive. Bell-bottoms were flapping in the wind. Gas was cheap, and so were, well, basically everything. But while everyone else was boogieing, the US Mint was quietly producing one very special penny: the 1973 Lincoln penny. And some of those coins had a little something missing. No mint mark. And now, before we go full on coin nerd, let's get this out of the way. What's a mint mark? Simple. It's that tiny little letter under the year on most coins. Usually you'll see a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or sometimes even a P for Philadelphia. But a no mint mark? That usually means it came out of Philly, unless something strange is going on. And in this case, something very strange went on the no mint mark 1973 penny that's worth the big bucks. That's no ordinary penny. It's a rare error coin that somehow got struck with some very specific flaws. We're talking off-center strikes, double dies, and in some cases, crazy high-grade condition that never even made it into circulation. Mint state 67 and above. Practically untouched by human hands. Imagine finding one of those in your sock drawer. Or under the car seat. Makes you want to clean your car now, doesn't it? I had a moment. A few months back, I was going through this old coffee can of pennies I inherited from my grandpa. The man kept everything. Like, receipts from the 60s, ketchup packets from who knows when, and of course, coins. I almost donated the whole thing to Goodwill, but something said, "Nah, check M." So I sat down, popped open the can, and started sifting. About halfway through, I find the shiny 1973 penny. No mint mark. I'm like, okay buddy, you're gonna get the white glove treatment. Took it in for grading, and while mine wasn't the $1 million baby, it still came back worth a few $100. Not bad for something I almost dumped next to an old can opener. Now back to the big leagues. The $1.4 million version of this penny? It's basically a unicorn. Only a few are known to exist. And they're usually discovered in pristine condition with a perfect strike. Graded by PCGS or NGC at mint state 67 or higher. These are coins that never saw the inside of a vending machine. Never bought a gumball. Never got flipped during a decision-making crisis. These pennies were basically frozen in time. So what makes it worth so much? Glad you asked. There are very few high-grade 1973 no-mint mark pennies. Most got scratched up, dinged, and tossed into piggy banks. Collectors go wild for error coins and high-grade classics. And Lincoln pennies are one of the most collected series out there. The higher the grade, the more zeros get added to the price tag. That MS67 plus range is like coin royalty. It's a 70s penny that survived half a century without a blemish. That's like finding a vintage car with 0 miles on it, but here's the fun part. You might have one. Right now. In your change jar. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you even looked at your pennies? We toss them in jars, drawers, glove compartments, and some of those pennies could literally change your life. Step 1. Grab your change jar. Yes, the one you haven't touched since 2012. Look for a penny dated 1973. Make sure it doesn't have a little D or S under the date. You want that clean, smooth look. Step 3. If it looks super shiny and crisp, no scratches, no dings, no gum residue, it might be worth a closer inspection. Step 4. If your spider sense tingles, take it to a professional coin grader. Don't clean it. Seriously. Do not clean it. That's like trying to wash a Picasso with a sponge. Let the pros handle it, and if you're curious, you can also compare it online. Look up recent auctions, check photos, and get familiar with what $1 million penny really looks like. Also, keep an eye out for things like doubling on the date or letters. That's called a double die, and it's another sign that your penny might be packing some serious value. Alright friends, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it's this: never underestimate the power of a penny. That little copper coin in your pocket might just be your golden ticket. Or at least your ticket to a nice vacation. Ask your grandparents. Look under couch cushions. Who knows, you might be holding onto a coin that's worth more than your car. And if you enjoyed this little treasure hunt and you want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like. Drop a comment if you've got a 1973 penny hiding somewhere or if you found any cool coins recently. I read them all. I really do, and remember, in a world full of pennies, be the one worth $1 million. Hey there, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and folks who just love a good story about turning pocket change into a goldmine. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies jingling around in your pockets or hiding in that old jar on your kitchen counter? Because there's a little brown beauty from 1970 that could be worth a jaw-dropping, heart-racing, eyebrow-raising $1.5 million. Yeah, I said million with an M, and no, I'm not pulling your leg. Now grab a comfy seat, maybe a drink, and for the love of Abe Lincoln, grab your coin jar too, because we're diving deep into the story of the 1970 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that went from couch cushion filler to $1 million legend. The 1970 D penny. D stands for Denver, which is where it was minted, and this baby is part of the classic Lincoln Memorial series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. Now most of these pennies are about as ordinary as toast with no butter, but every now and then a freak of numismatic nature breaks the mold, and that's exactly what happened here. You see, the 1970 D penny has a few rare varieties and errors that make it stand out. But we're not just talking about any old scratch or nick. We're talking serious stuff like double die errors, off-center strikes, and a little magic I like to call the woe factor. Number 1, the double die. Some 1970 D pennies were struck with a doubled image, which means you'll see Lincoln's profile or the words on the coin slightly doubled if you look closely. Imagine Lincoln looking like he had too much coffee and is vibrating slightly off-center. That's money right there. Number 2, ultra high grade condition. A regular old 1970D penny might get you a few cents if it's beat up and scratched, but if you've got one in pristine uncirculated condition with that fresh out the mint shine, you're in for a treat. Especially if it's certified by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, Dave, big baseball fan, had a drawer full of old coins. One day we're hanging out watching a game and he dumps out the drawer looking for a quarter for the vending machine. I spot the shiny little guy among the mess and say, hold up, what year is that? He goes 1970, and I go, does it have a D on it? Sure enough it does. Long story short, we send it in for grading and BAM, it comes back MS67 red. That's mint state 67 and red means it's still got that original coppery glow. He ends up getting an offer north of $1 million. Dude was speechless. He bought nachos for the whole bar and he doesn't even like nachos. So yeah, these coins exist and they are changing lives now. What should you be looking for if you want to cash in on your own copper jackpot? First, flip the coin. Look at the date. If it says 1970 and there's a tiny D under it, you're on the right track. Next, check the details. Look for signs of doubling, especially on the Liberty text or the date. If the letters look a little blurry or weirdly thick, you might have a double die. And if the coin is super clean with no scratches, fingerprints, or chewing gum stuck to it, get it graded by the pros. Also be aware that some forgeries are out there, because when something's worth 1.5 million, people get ideas. Stick with trusted grading companies and coin dealers if you're planning to sell. Now let's talk about market value. As of today, coins in average circulated condition aren't worth much, maybe a few cents to a few bucks. But high-grade ones, especially those with rare mint errors, can fetch up to 1.5 million at auction. And yes, multiple collectors and investors are actively hunting for these rare examples to complete their Lincoln series. If you think that's wild, imagine explaining to your friends that your retirement plan is literally a penny. I mean, how poetic is that? A single cent could pay off your mortgage, send your kids to college, and still leave you enough to buy the fancy avocado toast every day for the next decade. So here's the takeaway, my fellow coin crusaders. That little 1970D penny sitting lonely in your change bowl might be a hidden gem. All it takes is a keen eye, a bit of research, and a touch of luck. But hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny, the hunt itself is half the fun. And trust me, once you find one of these rare beauties, it's like finding Bigfoot, but shinier. Now, if you enjoyed this wild ride through Lincoln Pennyland and want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth crazy amounts of money, hit that subscribe button like it owes you change. Tap the bell so you never miss a drop, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you just think Lincoln had a great beard. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time, happy hunting, and may your pockets always jingle with potential. Hey, what's up, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and anyone who's ever dropped a penny and wondered if they should bother picking it up? Well, guess what? Today might just convince you to start checking your change like it's the lottery, because we're diving into one of the wildest coin stories out there. We're talking about the 2015 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, it's just a regular penny. Right, wrong. One of these little copper beauties sold for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, $1.6 million for a coin you might have used to buy gum at a gas station. So before you clean out your car or dump that piggy bank, you better watch this video, because this could be the best 3 cents you've ever spent on your time. Now buckle up, because I've got stories, facts, jokes, and a little bit of penny panic coming your way. Alright, so let's break this down real easy. The 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark was minted in Philadelphia. Now normally, coins from Philly don't have a mint mark. That's standard, nothing shocking. So what makes this one worth more than a fully loaded Tesla? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and one really weird twist of fate. There's a specific batch of 2015 pennies with a combination of features that were printed in a way that's not supposed to happen. We're talking about errors, clean, sharp strikes, die varieties, and basically all the stuff that makes coin nerds lose their minds. One of these 2015 pennies had such a crisp strike and such a unique die feature that collectors went absolutely bananas for it, and boom, it sold for a whopping $1.6 million at auction. Yes, someone actually paid more than a mansion for a penny that most people wouldn't think twice about. I know what you're thinking, I've got pennies too, I've got jars full. Well, my friend, you just might. Now let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, right, we'll call him Steve. Steve's not a collector, never really cared about coins, he just liked to throw all his loose change in this old Pringles can. One day he's bored watching TV and he sees some video talking about rare pennies. He gets curious, dumps the whole thing on his coffee table, starts poking around, and boom, now he's freaking out thinking he just found the golden ticket. Calls me up screaming into the phone like he won the Super Bowl. I go over, take a look, and sorry to say it wasn't the $1 million version, but it was in great shape and still worth a decent chunk to the right. Collector point is you never know what you've got lying around. Okay, so what exactly should you look for if you've got a 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny? Number 1, check for an ultra sharp strike with no doubling on Lincoln's face or lettering. Number 2, examine the coin for any errors or oddities like die cracks or misalignments. If it looks like it just came from the mint, you've got a better chance of a high value sale. And trust me that one letter difference can mean the difference between a 5-cent coin and a 5-figure payday. Also, quick pro tip: use a magnifying glass or even one of those cheap coin scopes you can buy online. To them I say, you clearly have never screamed in the middle of a 7-Eleven because you found a penny worth more than your car, because while the top tier coin went for 1.6 million, there are still plenty of 2015 no mint mark pennies floating around that can fetch anywhere from $50 to $5,000 depending on condition and features. That's still not bad for a coin that people usually ignore on the sidewalk. And don't get me started on the folks who throw them in those charity jars. Those jars are basically treasure chests at this point. So how do you sell one? If you think you've got a valuable penny, first get it graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Yeah, it costs a little money, but the value bump you get if it grades well is worth it. Then you can list it on auction sites or even take it to coin dealers. You could be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. So go check the junk drawer, your glove box, the couch cushions, wherever you stash your change. Alright, coin crew, we've had some laughs, some gasps, and hopefully a few lightbulb moments. Who knew a little copper coin with Lincoln's face could be worth more than most people's retirement accounts? If you learned something new today, if you laughed at least once, or if you're now eyeing your change jar like it's full of diamonds, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, tap that bell so you don't miss the next big money coin tip, and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that made you feel like Indiana Jones. And hey, if you find that $1.6 million penny, I am not saying you owe me 10%, but I wouldn't say no to lunch. Hey coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just make you rich. Yeah, you heard me right, we're talking about the coins jingling in your pocket right now that could be worth more than your car, your college tuition, or your grandma's vintage ceramic cat collection. Now listen up, because today we're diving deep into the mysterious, the marvelous, the money-making legend of the 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that little copper coin you probably used to buy gum in second grade could now be worth a jaw-dropping $17 million. That's not a typo, folks, $1.7 million for a single penny. So buckle up, grab the dusty jar of coins you've been ignoring on your nightstand, and let's find out if you've been sitting on a small fortune this whole time. Alright, so let's start with a quick backstory about the 1967 penny. This was smack in the middle of the coin shortage era. The US Mint was in full freakout mode, trying to crank out coins faster than people were hoarding them. So to speed things up, the mint decided, hey, let's ditch the mint marks for a while. That's right, in 1967 there were no mint marks at all on pennies, nickels, dimes, you name it. It didn't matter if it came from Philly, Denver, or Mars, everything looked the same. Now you might be asking, if they all look the same, what makes one of these worth $17 million? Great question, my curious coin comrades. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a dash of good ol' fashion minting mistake magic. Most 1967 pennies are just your average copper coin, but a small handful of them were struck on the wrong metal planchets or have crazy doubling errors. Some even have off-center strikes or dramatic die cracks. Basically, these coins are like the weird kids in school, but instead of getting bullied, they get auctioned off for life-changing money. Now I know what you're thinking, this sounds cool and all, but how do I know if I have the $1 million version? Sit tight, cause I got you covered. First, grab a magnifying glass. If you don't have one, borrow your grandma's reading glasses or just squint real hard. Look for any weirdness in the lettering, especially around Liberty and In God We Trust. As the text doubled, does Abe look like he's got a shadow clone behind him? Congrats, you might have a double die, and that could be huge. Next, check for off-center strikes. Does the coin look like it was printed by someone with a hangover? If Lincoln's head is sliding off the side like he's trying to escape, that's another potential goldmine. Also, inspect the edge and weight of the coin. There are reports of a few 1967 pennies being struck on dime planchets, meaning they're smaller and lighter. If your penny feels weirdly thin or the color seems off, it might be one of these ultra rare mutants. And condition matters, folks. If your coin has more scratches than a catfight in a sandpaper factory, it's probably not worth much. But if it's shiny, smooth, and sharp as a fresh haircut, we're talking big bucks, baby. Now I gotta tell you a quick story. A few years ago I was visiting my uncle who hoards coins like a dragon hoards gold. He had this massive jar labeled, meant probably nothing. I spent hours digging through it, feeling like Indiana Jones in a thrift store, and lo and behold, there it was, a 1967 penny, shiny, sharp, no mint mark, and it looked suspiciously off-center. My heart skipped. I may or may not have screamed like I saw a ghost. Turns out it wasn't the rare one, but man, that rush, that moment, I thought I found the jackpot. That's the thrill of the hunt, my friends. Alright, so to wrap it up, the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket, but only if it's got the right mix of errors, excellent condition, and that sprinkle of magic. If you have one, take it to a professional or get it graded. You might be sitting on enough money to buy a house, take a dream vacation, or finally pay off those student loans. And hey, if you're loving these deep dives into valuable coins and The wild stories behind them. Don't just walk away without hitting that subscribe button. Smash it like you're trying to flatten a penny on train tracks. Tap that bell too so you never miss a tip that could turn your pocket change into payday. Share this video with your friends, especially that one guy who always brags about his lucky penny. You might be doing them a huge favor. Hey, coin lovers! Have you ever found a coin in your pocket and thought, maybe this could be worth a small fortune? Well, let me tell you, sometimes you might be sitting on a goldmine and not even know it. Today, we're talking about one particular penny that's not just any penny. It's the 1995 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth a whopping $1.8 million. Yep, you heard that right, a penny. It's like finding a $20 bill in a pair of old jeans, but even better. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's dive into this rare coin's fascinating story. Okay, let's get down to the basics. A regular 1995 D penny, what's the big deal? It's a coin that's been in circulation for decades. We see them everywhere, right? But here's the kicker: while most 1995 D pennies are worth, well, 1 cent, there are a select few that are insanely valuable. And we're not talking about some magical, rare penny you find by chance. There's a specific reason why the 1995 D penny is worth so much. It's all about the errors and misprints. You see, these pennies came with an unusual feature, a double die error on the obverse side, meaning that the image of Abraham Lincoln is doubled in a very specific way. Let me break it down for you. A double die error happens when a coin is struck twice by the same die, which results in a doubling of the image. In the case of the 1995 D penny, it means that Abraham Lincoln's image is slightly shifted, causing the portrait to appear blurry or doubled. It's subtle, but once you know what to look for, it's like spotting a celebrity in a crowd. It's like finding an original version of a rare comic book or a vintage vinyl that no one else has. There are fewer of these coins, and they can be worth a lot of money. The 1995 D double die error penny is one of the most sought after modern coins, and it's selling for up to $1.8 million at auctions. That's right, million with an M. How do I go about finding one of these 1995 D Mint Mark pennies in my spare change? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's not as easy as just flipping through your jar of pennies. But don't give up hope just yet. The trick is to know exactly what you're looking for. The doubled image of Lincoln's portrait will be visible under magnification, so grab yourself a loupe or a magnifying glass and take a close look at any 1995 D pennies you come across. It's usually the date, the word liberty, and sometimes even parts of Lincoln's face. It's subtle but noticeable once you know what to look for. But hey, don't go tossing every penny you find into the trash pile just yet. If it looks even remotely promising, it's worth examining further. Let me tell you, finding a coin worth $1 million doesn't just happen every day. And I speak from experience here. Let me take you back to a few years ago when I was going through some old change I found at the bottom of a drawer. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I was feeling nostalgic. I decided to pull out some of my old coins to see if any of them were worth anything, just for fun. As I was flipping through them, I noticed something odd about one of the pennies. The date looked slightly off, and the image of Lincoln, well, it looked like it had a bit of a double vision situation. I thought, no way, this can't be right. But after checking it under my magnifying glass, my heart started racing. Could it be a 1995 D double die error? I mean, what are the odds? Long story short, I ended up sending it off for grading, and to my shock, it came back with a premium grade. I didn't get the full $1.8 million, but I'm telling you, that penny paid for a few nice dinners. Moral of the story? Always keep an eye out for those little hidden treasures in your loose change, alright? I know you're all dying to know just how much one of these pennies can actually fetch. Well, like I mentioned before, the 1995 D double die error penny can be worth up to $1.8 million. But, and here's the catch, not every penny will be worth that much. Factors like the condition of the coin, the severity of the doubling, and the grading all play a role in how much it can go for. A penny in mint condition with a clear double die error will obviously fetch a higher price than one that's worn or less noticeable. Well, it really depends. Some collectors want to hold on to their pennies for the long term, betting that they'll be worth even more in the future. Others might want to cash in while the market is hot. If you're in it for the short-term payoff, selling it at auction is probably your best bet. The 1995 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't just a regular penny. It's a potential goldmine if you happen to come across one with a double die error. It's not something you'll find every day, but if you keep an eye out and know what to look for, you might just stumble upon a treasure. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, it's always exciting to find a piece of history that could change your life. Now, before you run off to dig through your jar of coins, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date on all the tips, tricks, and hidden treasures in the world of coins. I've got more stories, more tips, and more advice on how to find the coins that could make you a fortune. So, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin worth a lot of money. I'd love to hear your stories.